You know, Juju, I've had enough of your colony. I'm leaving. This place sucks. Hey everyone, welcome back to Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. In last episode, we took care of a few Nopon problems, including one of Banner. Now, he's not eating mushy mushrooms for life. He's now just eating whatever he can get on the spinning wheel. Anyway though, in this episode, we are going to be doing something special. However, story time. Way back when, during our second playthrough, we were deciding to do one of Werner's side quests in Colony 6. Basically kill multiple flyers. In fact, if we just go over here, just to, kind of reiterate our point, here we were, just fighting flyers and fighting wisps all day long. And then, although the draw distance wasn't as good as it is in this game, we came over here. In fact, I think reminiscing on missed potential of the story. And then all of a sudden, we see this pop up on the map. She survived.
Who's this? Ain't she the one who attacked us in the capital?
You!
Tyrea! What are you doing here? You're hurt.
Do not touch me, vile girl!
Watch it!
Oh,
Oh,
Tyrea, what happened?
is she dead?
No. It looks like she just passed out. Let's get her to the infirmary. Rhine!
Come on, why me?
Please.
Is she okay?
Her injuries aren't severe. When the Bionis awoke, the ether flow around the colony became unstable. Maybe that's why she lost consciousness.
No, that's not what I meant.
You mean, why didn't she become a Telethia?
Precisely.
For pure-blooded high Entia to become Telethia, the ether energy surrounding the Bionis has to be above a certain level. Luckily, the level of ether energy here is not as high as on the upper regions of Bionis. That may be what kept her safe. Or perhaps...
Perhaps what?
No. It's nothing.
Something about this makes me feel uneasy.
I know what you mean. We'll have to keep an eye on her recovery.
Why does she hate you so much, Melia? You're both high Entia. Is being pure-blooded really that important?
Tyrea's birth mother is most likely my stepmother. You don't mean Umea? Yes. I heard about it from Callian after I returned from the tomb. Mother was the leader of the Inquisitors, a secretive organization operating in the shadows of the Imperial household. The group plotted to maintain the Imperial bloodline through a clandestine ritual. A ritual where Tyrea was conceived.
And she was secretly raised as an Inquisitor assassin. Hold on a sec. Are you saying that Tyrea is Callian's half-sister?
That's right. Then isn't she in the same position as you? Mm-hmm.
that is correct.
Tyrea! You're awake!
I had more right to the throne than she ever did. Were it not for the consort system that has so polluted the pride of our people, it would have been me, a pure-blooded High Entia, who would build the future of our people. But you... you are a hypocrite, just like me. If we are honest, what is the difference? You too would take the lives of your own people to protect your bloodline. Melia, you too are nothing but an assassin.
You're wrong.
I don't buy that for a second.
Ryan.
Pride of your people? How about you're jealous of Melia?
Do you really think I would be jealous of her?
Ain't ya? You're envious of her, right? Of how she lives her life. You just want everyone to feel sorry for you, for being in the shadows all your life.
How dare you? No one speaks to me like that.
I'm saying that you'll never have a life like Melia's. You don't have the faintest idea why Melia's been fighting. Even if you'd been born in her place, the Emperor still would have chosen her as his successor. Succeeding the Imperial line ain't all about blood. It's about taking on the will to do whatever it takes, for your land, for your people, when the time comes. That's what makes Melia different from you.
How dare you?
Both of you, stop this! This is no time for pointless bickering.
He's right. We survivors shouldn't be fighting amongst ourselves. Right, time's up. I want the room cleared out.
Yeah, okay.
And you need to calm down and get some rest.
Ugh. Me? Envious? I only think of my people. What is that?
What's going on?
Look! Over there! The colony!
Tyrea!
Guys, she's gone.
Tyrea, you mean? Could that Tyrea be her?
No. At least, I'm fairly certain.
What?
There's no time now. We must pursue it.
God damn it, Tyrea, you couldn't even hit Juju at least once. You couldn't eat him. You couldn't hit him. You just had to hit the base. And we built all this up, and what did the pensive do? A good solid jack shite. But anyway though. Yep, Tyrea is back, and Tyrea is also back, and this is a very special side quest. The only one in this entire game which is actually voice acted. Which I think is very special, and this being the Definitive Edition makes it even more special.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm really surprised that it being the Definitive Edition and it being what it is, and it has content on what it has, I'm surprised it didn't like bring up more of a, oh no, guess like a point to it, as in like something that would say, hey idiot, there's something going on in that particular area. But although I guess you could argue the draw distance kind of makes it null and void, since how you would see it on the map and go, ooh, what's that? But anyway though, that's besides the point. I actually love this cutscene, or the cutscene which you just saw.
I love how Ryan stands up for Melia.
Yeah, because up until this point, Ryan has been sort of like the third wheel to an almost comedic degree, and apart from the first initial wave of story prompts, as in like Colony 9 and Colony 6 and so and so forth. Ryan really hasn't had a strong moment in the game since then.
Especially not with Melia.
No, and you know what? I like it. It makes Ryan more likable and makes you root for him a little bit more. And it also brings more context to Melia, Tyrea, and how they intertwine with the story, and even talk about how more things about the high entry and the way they work. It's got more depth to it. And speaking of more depth, one of the first times we encountered Lethia, and here we are again.
It must be Tyrea after all.
What do we do? Do we have to fight her?
There's no time to think about it. Ready yourselves!
And much like this is the time which we fought Hyentia, this is the very same Telethia in which we fought back then. Mysterious Telethia, aka Tyrea, aka question mark. Either way, at half a million HP, this takes a bit to bring down. However, this thing is not that much different compared to different Telethias which fought before. Of course, Soul Reed, and much like Back in the Forest, the same trick still applies. This one can drain your talent gauge, so if you're Sharla, you can simply have at it and make things more easy for you. What we saw just there is one of its talent art, a straight laser which can pierce and it can knock you back a bit. If anything, this level focuses on is putting you to sleep, whether it be a single attack or a frontal arc. And it can also bind you if you're not careful. However, if your characters like Melia or Sharla, it really doesn't matter where you stand, making Sharla even more of a problem point to use. That's not to say this thing is not a slouch. It doesn't have much in attack variety, but the attacks it has is very hard hitting. As you can see, what it did to Ricky. However, if you want to have sleep resist or Reaper defense, you're pretty much all set to go. So, let's take it out to see what we can do. That's one more thing. It being a chain attack, yes, it can be toppled, broken, and dazed, all without no spike. But dude, like I said before I glanced over it, I love how this is the first time we fought a Telethia, and if you're like us in terms of narrative, this is the last place you should find it. If only without Albus and whatnot.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's doing right now.
I knew you could do it.
Shulk, I must...
I know.
Stop!
Tyrea! You're safe.
You do realize that Telethia is Umea.
Umea?
I was pursuing Umea. Even though she knew it was her fate to transform, she remained faithful to the Bionis.
But why? Didn't she feel betrayed?
Everyone has their own beliefs, and what they believe is their own choice. Umea adhered to her path. I pursued her so that I could fulfill her final wish.
Her final wish?
Umea was imprisoned within the Tower of Investigation. She told me that after she transformed into a Telethia, I was to destroy her as quickly as possible. She wished to sacrifice herself to the Bionis. At least, that is what I believed at first. But I now understand Yumea's true desire. That is why I must...
This is my responsibility.
Melia, why?
Father entrusted me with the Empire and its people. What I believe in is the will of those struggling to survive. I have to fight if I am to convey this to the next generation. Besides, Yumea is your birth mother. There is no need for you to carry out such an unpleasant task.
Is the same not true of you? You may not be of her blood, but you still think of her as your...
This is a duty that my father and brother conferred upon me.
Melia.
Tyrea, I believe you and I are alike.
Alike? Never, vile girl. My gratitude for assisting Yumea. I mean, Mother.
Tyrea.
Well, there she goes.
Is she going to be okay on her own?
She'll be all right. We and Tyrea share the same goal. Our paths are sure to meet again.
Yeah, you're right. Melia, what did you mean just now? When you said you and Tyrea are alike?
Tyrea must be half Homs, just like me.
What? But the wings on her head?
Not all half-blooded High-Entia have small wings, only the majority. Some are indistinguishable from pure-blooded High-Entia.
Dominant and recessive inheritance. I've studied this.
So that's why.
Melia, do you think Yumea knew this would happen?
Perhaps. Actually, she had to have known. At least, that's what I believe.
She was her mother after all. She must have been aware.
Yes.
And with that, another chapter comes to an end. You get auto stealth, because assassin, why not? And you get an Empress staff, with quite a lot of good stats to have.
Yeah.
She got the Imperial staff from her father, and in some ways, she got the Empress staff from her mother. And what Dumb said a minute ago, us seeing Tyrea again, yeah, I like to believe we will. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe 10 years from now. Who bloody knows. However, that's not quite the end of everything we've got to show. A minor thing to point out is that after this cutscene ends, another little thing pops up. However, I do really want to just bring that nice bit of closure. It makes Tyrea, and in some ways Yumea, kind of redeemable characters, even though Yumea wasn't a big part of the story. Almost like a footnote. But however, this little thing we're about to show, it kind of says that even if characters are footnotes, they can still add to a bit of an underlying story arc, if you will. Yumea is made. She only appears after the deed is done.
Hi there.
I was the one responsible for Lady Yumea during her incarceration. I, her maid, sat with her in the Tower of Investigation. I will never forget that night, the eve of the Bionis Awakening, for I heard a story that deeply affected me. Apparently, Lady Tyrea was conceived at a clandestine ritual. Such rituals were customary to protect the pure Ientia. It was not known at the time, but her father was half Homs. Yes, can you believe it? He was of mixed lineage. And when this was discovered, he was thrown out of their order. He has not been seen since. However, there is more. It was customary to remove the child from the imperial line. However, Yumea, despite her duty to the order, gave birth to Tyrea. And even now, it's not clear why Yumea dared to defy the order. Straight after the Bionis awoke, Tyrea visited her mother. The two of them sat and Yumea told her the story I tell you now. On that dreaded night, Yumea poured her heart out to her child. I believe I witnessed Yumea's dying words of love to Tyrea.
Hi there.
Do you think that Yumea became a Telethia like the others? All I pray is that she found peace as she returned to the Bionis.
Hi there.
I think she did. I love the side quest because it makes Melia grow as a character, it does things for Ryan, and even the characters which you think you never see again, they come back.
And with the Definitive Edition and the epilogue, it gives Dunban's last words more effect.
We waited 10 years, but we got context. And also, the thing I meant when I said it gives characters a bit of depth. All throughout this series, Melia, the Emperor, Callian, the point of it all is accepting what's going to happen with dignity. Melia does it, Callian the Emperor does it, and guess what? It runs in the family. Her mother and Tyrea both did the same thing, even though they technically weren't on the best of sides. But still though, I just love how it's indicative of the High Entia that they're very graceful. And even set with things like, you know, killing a family member or anything like this, Melia rises to the occasion. Which makes her a great character. And I think that's why a lot of people flock to Melia. Because bird people. Which makes me ask, why did a certain news outlet which focuses on video games say that Melia was one of the weakest characters ever?
Yep. And called Ryan Rain and Dunban Dan Ban or Dan Bang or whatever.
But we're not going to put a damper on this. Either way, this is just a nice little cherry on top for Melia, and god damn I love it. And it being the Definitive Edition, this cherry is going to get topped one more time. But we'll get to that when we do. So, that said guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like this episode, be sure to like it. If you don't like it, well then, whatever happens, I hope you accept it with dignity like this little lady. And if you want to subscribe to see more content like this, then please subscribe to see more, or else Melia's gonna kick you in the face. But be dignified about it. So, until then guys, from one of the best characters in JRPGs, we'll see you next time.